what's up, y'all? Welcome to Battle Wounds Podcast, and I'm your host, Amos St. John.
And it's your boy, Tank. You don't know what it is.
Welcome. So glad y'all tuned in, man. Listen, we appreciate all the love, man. We feeling the love, the subscriptions, the likes, the follows. And if you haven't done neither, this is your opportunity right now to what?
To like, subscribe, and share on all platforms.
My God.
Apple, Spotify, and YouTube.
Come on.
Any other place that you find your podcast needs.
Yep. Yes, sir. Ah, man. Listen, we're growing. We love the feedback. Again, this is a new thing, man. Battle Wounds Podcast, man. We turned the page in season 6, man. Adding my boy Tank. And we going strong, man. We growing strong. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the journey, man. And like, follow, subscribe, share, do it all. Because we're growing. And the more you like, the more you interact, the more the algorithm embraces what we got. Because I feel like we got some good content, man.
I do believe too, man. You know, it's kind of refreshing to be able to kind of get some of the emotions, the feelings, the ideas just from the pen and pad out to the world so that they can, have conversations that that need to happen. Mm-hmm. And there ain't no better place than to do it on a podcast, man.
Listen, let's talk. We got something to say, man. We got something to say.
Yes, sir.
And so, again, this is good content. We trying to just share from the heart to connect with the men and for the women to kind of get to see our side of things, man, without all the animosity or whatever,
Now remember, we all about respect here. We never mean to disrespect anybody or make anybody feel some type of way. But what we want to do is we want to spark thought, imagination, and just being able to convey a message to whoever needs to hear it. Yep. And if you have anything that y'all would love to say to us, at least drop a comment so we know how you feel, so you're not just sitting there holding it in. We're about expressing ourselves, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Don't hold it in. Go ahead and tell us what we want, and it'll make us better. That's the main thing. We're about getting better on this podcast.
Yep. I appreciate it. And last week we talked a little bit about fumbling the bag, man, money management, financial literacy, man, and the feedback, man. I guess we ain't the only ones trying to grow and make this bag and keep the bag. You see, it's one thing to make it. It's another thing to keep it.
I'm trying to tell you, man, because every single time you see that money slipping away, you trying to find another way to get paid. Listen, you know what I'm saying?
Man.
And like I said before, it's the inflation that's killing us, man. We're trying to stack our bread at the same time and stay fed. Because if you don't,
your bars are crazy.
Hey, man, one day I might drop an album. You know what I'm saying? I have a little something up under my sleeve other than these arms. It just is what it is, But at the same time, we really need to focus on how to make our money work for us now instead of working every waking minute.
Dude, man, it's crazy, man. Just as how, like I said, inflation is really like, we heard about it in school, man. Like they talked about inflation. I was like, okay, whatever, the dollar and what it's worth. And man, I'm feeling it as an adult, like that dollar is tripping, and so let's just work on not fumbling the bag. And if you have fumbled the bag, you can recover, man. You shared some really important things about surviving the storm, but storms don't last, but strong people do. That was one of the strongest things. That was when you said that, man. That thing hit me like when he said. Tank said, storms don't last, but strong people do, man. That right there.
But you got to understand that, strong people doesn't always mean that you do it by yourself.
Facts.
And that's why I said at the same time you have to ask for help.
True.
Because there's so many avenues and so many people that you can reach out to get some type of help. Yeah. Whether it's if you don't understand stocks, if you don't understand investments, if you don't understand what your 401k really can do for you. Yeah. Reach out to them. That makes you stronger.
Man, that's good. That's good. That's good. So listen, go back, listen to that podcast. We got more stuff on financial literacy and health and wealth and all that stuff. We got stuff coming, man. And so let's keep building. The more you interact, the more we grow. You know what I mean? And so go back to that and check out that last episode. But this episode is a good one. I'm going to ask the question.
Go ahead.
What do men really want? That's the question, man.
Now I know what y'all thinking instantly is it's going to be a man versus woman situation, and it's not. We're really just talking about what we want as men and trying to make sure that we satiate all those buckets so that we feel whole and not bit by bit and piece by piece. We want to feel like a whole person.
We talk about health as wealth. That's what this whole podcast is about. And so I asked the question, what does a man really want? What do men really want, man? And it's like, it's a general question, and it can vary depending on your age, you know, your cultural upbringing. You know, there's so many things that factor in. So we're just gonna keep it as broad as possible. But yes, it's gonna come from my perspective, his perspective. But we want to just talk about it. What do men really want? You know, and I if we ask, you know, women, it may be one thing. We ask men, black men, white men, you know, Indians, Chinese, you know what I'm saying, Latino, like it can, you know, and there may be a couple of common denominators as we go through this, but, you know, let's talk about it, you know?
I think that, you know, all men as one really have the basics that we really want from either our significant other or just receive from the world or even from our family and the people that we love. And I know a lot of times we base our life most of the time off of stoicism. You know, I'm good. I don't need anything or anybody. I'm just here and I'm just all about self at that moment. But that's not the dynamic that really, you know, men thrive off of in general. We have emotions.
That's, you know what I mean? Real, man.
And don't sit there and try to act like y'all don't have emotions, man. I see whether it's mad or you're sad or somewhere in between that. There's a spectrum of all different type of emotions that we go through on a day-to-day basis. So, you know, perfect. Let's start with one. Like, do you want to feel like you matter? That's the main thing.
I think the older I've gotten, I've realized how important to feel or to be seen or to be heard. You know what I'm saying? Like, it matters. Like, so many men walk around feeling invisible. You know what I'm saying? Or they don't feel like they're being seen, so they kind of overdo it to kind of be seen. You know, and it's overcompensating. Whether it's, you know, if they're making money, they buying the biggest of stuff to get flashy and stuff like that. And it's just, I think to the core, a lot of men, you're right. Like you said, we want to be heard and felt and seen, man.
Well, man, you know, that starts from childhood. You know what I mean? If you weren't the quintessential most popular person, or you were a late bloomer, or you just really weren't on the scene like that, and you kind of walked to the beat of your own drum, you weren't seen as being that person, that guy. You know what I'm saying? Whether if you were part of a gamers club back in the Gap, you know what I mean? People played Dungeons and Dragons back in the Gap before you had a whole bunch of like digital games and stuff like that. But really, it's, you want to matter and you want to be seen because it's just a basic human need. Because you want to be able to connect within a group. You want to not be by yourself. We weren't born to be isolated.
That is true.
And have nobody surround you.
It's biblical, man. You know, it is not good for man to be, you know, alone. And, you know, and man cannot live by bread alone. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, you know, from in the Bible, when Adam kind of roamed the earth by himself, you know, God felt like it was needed to put him to rest and create Eve from his rib. You know what I'm saying? And this is like, from the beginning of time, you know, it was always designed for us to not be alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can do a lot alone, but not at all. Not all. You know what I'm saying? Like, to get to the next level, it requires community, it requires family, it requires connection. And yeah, when we don't have that connection or the community, it creates a different kind of emotion. Like you said, you're more stoic and, you know, tough and, you know, not emotional, you know, and it's like, man, listen, we want to be respected. We want to be understood.
That's the key so far.
And like valued.
When you said respect, doesn't matter whether it's relationship, you know, situationship, family, whatever, it's respect. That's how men view love in general. And the first thing you have to do is really learn how to respect yourself.
That part.
Because
that's true.
It's hard. It's hard to know how to ask for respect and want to garner respect when you don't know what respect looks like to you.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Whether it's like Kevin Gates said when he said prison rules in effect. I respect you respect me, respect ourselves.
Yeah.
That kind of situation. I like that premise because it's like I'm never gonna disrespect somebody that I care about, even if I don't know you.
Yeah.
I'm still not gonna disrespect you until disrespect is given. Once disrespect is given, then I can navigate that a different way. I may have to separate myself if I want to act like the young gentleman that I am, or if I want to get with the ratchet stuff, we can get with the ratchet stuff. But we're grown now, so I've worked on myself. That's a stoic part of me. I've worked on myself.
The respect is important. You know, I think for me, I've navigated some difficult situations when you've endured disrespect for so long. Like there is a limit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like whether it's in family or in relationships or whatever. I think in recent years I have implemented like boundaries. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, all right, since you won't show me respect, I'm gonna cut access. You're not gonna have access to me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like men need respect in order to move a certain way, or to function a certain way, or to be able to communicate a certain way, or to be understood. Like without respect, you know, it just makes things a little more difficult. And I think that's a major factor. And I think it also fall in line love. Like you said, if you want to respect, you also got to respect yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you want love, you gotta also love yourself.
Yeah, and I think a lot of guys lack that because we put everybody else before us.
Because we're providers. We want to make sure, like, you know, we builders, providers, protectors, and we're like, all right, I call it, we put our oxygen mask last. You know when they say, you know, before you help someone, make sure you put your oxygen mask.
You're the last person to put something on.
We do the opposite,
and you sitting there suffocating. Yeah.
That's how a lot of men are conditioned to be like, yo, I got to make sure, like the home front, everything is good and I'll be all right. But like, bro, you suffocating inside, you dying inside, you know? And I'm speaking to myself, you know, I realized a couple of months ago, I was like, yo, I say I love you a lot and I don't say I love me enough.
Well, the thing is, you have to look inside, first of all, and find out what you love about yourself.
And me in that revelation forced me to start looking like okay, you love you, but what about you that you love? Like let's be specific, because it's like, yo, we see in a relationship it grows romantically and be like, I love you, and it'd be like, you know, what about me do you love? And you give them all the specifics. Like that's the same type of application you place to yourself. Like, what about you do you love? Like, and have you evaluated like how many times you can say I love you to family, to somebody you love? Have you given that same amount of attention to yourself? And that's like, and it can fall under self-love, but I really want to really like the self-love thing is cool, but I really mean like, do you love yourself? Like really, like you know what I'm saying? Like it says in the Bible, it says love your neighbor as you love yourself.
And so how can you love your neighbor
if you don't love yourself?
Exactly. And a lot of people, they miss that part because they're like, well, I love you, I can show you, I love you by doing dishes for you, taking the garbage out for you, paying for a few things, trying to make sure that you're good as a person. But if you never look within yourself as far as the stoic part and just spend that time with yourself, there's nothing wrong with spending time with yourself and really figuring out what love looks like to you. And like I said before, guys find respect as love. So if you can find out what respect is, that's how we're going to view how to love ourselves in that sense. And I really want guys and women, everybody, let's just say everybody, to really look inside yourself and find out what you don't like about yourself and what you don't love about yourself and why you don't love that part about you. Was it because somebody else told you not to love yourself like that, or to love something about yourself like that? Man. Whether it's the way you look, it's the way that you feel about whatever goes on. You have to learn to love the ugly parts of you.
All of you.
I'm trying to tell you, it all encompasses.
Listen, just a little bit of my journey in the last couple of months. I was just talking to a friend today before I got here to the studio. I was like, "Yo, man, you come a long way." And we had a conversation a couple months ago, and he just noticed like you were a different person. You know what was different was that something triggered me. Someone triggered me so bad, like it. And they've been triggering me for so many years. You know what I'm saying? Like, and always put me in a bad space. This person had, and I was just like, yo, like, I just was like, yo, this, why am I letting them get to me like that? And the question about that loving myself is like, yo, if you love yourself so much, you'll realize you won't tolerate so many things, dog. Like, you will wake up and be like, wait a minute, I'm not gonna tolerate this. Like, because you get to love a person so much, like I said, you put that oxygen mask on someone else, you forget about yourself. And that loving myself changed so quick when I was like, it didn't anger me more, because you know what? It's your fault, Amos. You don't love yourself. If you love yourself, you're not gonna be subjecting too much disrespect. Like, hold up. That's not, I love myself enough. I'm not going to allow you to talk to me any kind of way. I'm not going to allow you to treat me any kind of way, because I love me. You know what I'm saying? Before I can say I love you, I love me. And so every time I feel triggered or something happens, I say the word, I love me. Or the second thing I've been doing the last couple of months, every time I tell my daughter, hey, I tell her multiple times a day. Every time I say, hey, Gracie, I love you. And she says, I love you too. And I whisper to myself, Amos, I love you too. Like, I'm trying to re-up the love to myself. You got to pour back in your cup. Exactly. So it's like, but I didn't realize how empty I was in that loving myself, because it was like, I will say, like I said to my daughter, I'll say a gazillion times a day, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And I will never say that to me. And I was like, yo, you got like you.
Yeah, because you're leaving yourself out of it. And one thing that I really noticed is that a lot of people are afraid to do that because they're afraid of the repercussions of if you do something that's for yourself and it seems like a little selfish to show love to yourself. Man, and they're afraid that somebody's gonna look at him. Well, he's a selfish person, or she's a selfish person, or he or she is narcissistic. That word get thrown around real frivolously. Listen, so you can't use that. Look, first of all, y'all need to know what the dictionary term is for half the stuff that y'all say.
That part.
But the thing is that's an actual problem. Like you actually have a psychological issue if you're a narcissist, and you can go to your therapist or psychologist to actually figure out if you are one.
That part.
But don't throw something out calling somebody a narcissist if you don't know what that is, and they're focusing on trying to heal something about themselves. You know what I'm saying? That's that's the part that I had to learn as far as growth wise, was to be unapologetic about loving myself and taking time from myself regardless, because the people that are the closest to you, your family members, your loved ones, your wife, your husband, whoever it is, they can be the one to disrespect you the most, and you not take you for granted. And you not react because you're afraid of the repercussions of what it is. I know a lot of guys and girls who suffer in silence because they do not want to deal with the repercussions of speaking up for themselves, because they don't want to argue. They don't want that cold shoulder of like, you know what, you want to, I'm done, and turn it back. And it's like, but I just expressed something on how I feel so I can show that I love myself in this situation. But I also want to throw that in there that you got to say that if you're in a relationship, it's we, not always me. And And don't get it twisted. Yes, spend time with yourself, but do not neglect your partner.
True.
So much to the point where they feel like they cannot speak up.
That's the other piece. That's the other part. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of time. It is about what men want, but at the same time, or what we crave, but at the same time, do not neglect your partner and their emotions in the same situation.
You know what I've dealt with, because I think we live in a culture that's, you know, now for the married folk, because I was married at once. There was a happy wife, happy life. And that has plagued a lot of relationships where, yeah, the woman gets all the love, get all the respect, and the man just have to just, all right, go ahead and work and make the money, bring the bread, or, you know, go build me a she shed or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the man is suffering in silence. And it's like, yo, like, first of all, love yourself. You know what I'm saying? So no matter who treats you or doesn't love you, you got to know, you know what I'm saying? Like, you love yourself. And that's what I've learned, that I didn't love myself enough I had to depend on external movements or moments of love to feel or to fill my cup. And when my cup was empty, I'll be broken down or pissed off or whatever. And it was like, man, if you love yourself and fill your cup and say, you know what? Yeah, external things will come and go. But what will remain is me. I love myself. I'm going to treat myself like, yo, you know what I'm saying? So back to the whole couple thing is like, there's a lot of, and it's changing a little bit, but that happy wife, happy life versus happy spouse, happy house. You know what I'm saying? And meaning that both partners are equally contributing to the love tank. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I think in, you know, the old school marriage counselor is like, man, you know, they'll tell the husband, man, make sure you love your wife and make sure you care for her, make sure that, and then there's nothing reciprocated. Like, okay, wife, make sure you take care of the husband and fill his cup. Is like, and so many men I can feel like are empty and are like working off of and that's what makes them stoic. That's what makes them operate so resentful. That's why there's like some of them are surly, like, man, you know, because they tank ain't been filled in so long. They've been kind of stuck to a corner to be that happy wife, happy life kind of dude. Like, okay, as long as I make her happy, I'm fulfilled.
But fam, we have to speak up, and that's the main thing. And
you know what I'm saying?
And like I said, without the fear of repercussions. So that right there would definitely hit on what we you know focused this all on was, what do we want? We want to be able to speak without repercussions and having a love language shut off or feeling like it's going to be retaliation. And the retaliation can look like we end up saying something that bothers us emotionally. And then all of a sudden now they get defensive. And now we spend the time, instead of expressing how we feel and getting it out and trying to find some type of middle ground by trying to build you back up, because all we're trying to do is trying to say what bothers us. And that's it. And like, it's a communication breakdown, because if you're if she's on the defensive or your partner's on the defensive and they're like, well, I hurt my feelings too. It's like this. I'm just expressing my emotion on how I feel in this situation. This is no disrespect to you. I love you, but I need to say this so that this is understood that something is bothering me, and have them, if they said, you know what, I accept that, I apologize, or something like that. That right there would shut off half the problems that go on, man. I'm trying to tell you, but you have to speak up. But the partner also has to be able to take that little bit of constructive criticism and make the adjustments the same way they want you to make the adjustments for them.
I think I would say this in general sense. Most men, I feel like what a man really wants, I think most men would love to be able to have tough conversations without, like I said, repercussions. Like, tough conversations saying, how do we feel? Like, how do you really feel? And we can say it without judgment. Because a lot of men will want to say more, but they're afraid of, okay, you know, you're going to think I'm too harsh, or you're going to think I'm demanding, or this stuff like that. And so they got to suppress it. They got to hold it in.
Yeah.
They can't let it out because, you know, that leads into a whole nother type of issues. But, you know, we got to protect their feelings. And then expose our, like, and nullify or suppress ours by protecting theirs, whoever it is, family or spouse or girlfriend or friend, whatever. And it's like, I think what men, again, in part of trying to be understood, respect, love, and all that stuff, is to be able to communicate like without judgment or without, filter, sometimes, or having the, be responsible. Now, this don't go off and be like the Incredible Hulk, like,
Nah, man, but you know what, at the same time, I'm going to be real with you. Everybody want to say, I want somebody to be 100% with me. I want somebody to be 100% real with me. You really don't. Because I'm going to tell you about yourself, and then you're going to be like, well, you really feel like that? And it's like, yeah, hold on. You wanted me to be 100 with you, keep it a buck with you. Yeah. And then when I keep it a buck with you, you were like, I really want about 50%. Because I wasn't ready for that 100 to come out of nowhere.
And listen, and I can tell there's a lot of men that are walking with a lot of suppressed emotions, suppressed, feelings, suppressed thoughts, suppressed, because it's like we can't really let it out the way we are, or we let it out in unhealthy ways or in other, that's why we talk about, women, why you got like side chicks or this and that, or side, like, because he's not able to safely release or his suppressed emotions.
Dude, working in that nightclub and working security in general like that, you find a lot of people will tell you the truth, and they'll come into the club, get a couple of drinks, and be upset, and then they go irate. Mm-hmm. And know how many times I done sit down and be like, "Hey, bro, what's really the issue, man? Yeah. Why you over here acting up like you put hands on somebody?" And then they tell me something's going on at home, and man, they don't listen to me, and I'm just frustrated because this, that, and the other, and I'm just like, okay, so you bringing it here to me? Look, fam, Look, I don't want to have to throw you out.
Listen,
but you need to also pay me for my therapy. Because right now I'm your therapist right now. You over here keep buying alcohol because you paying my tab. Yeah. You paying everything that I'm getting at the end of the night. But I'm just saying, a lot of guys come to different places and start acting out or act out their job or act out because they can't express themselves at home. And a lot of times, a lot of ladies will ask me like, man, so how do I talk to my guy about it? I said, just ask him what's wrong, and then don't say anything for 2 seconds. Yeah. Let him get it all out, because if you react, you're gonna end up missing what was needing to be said. Mm-hmm. And listen with open ears and an open heart at the same time.
That's good.
Now, fellas, you got to do the same thing when they when they need to express too. Let it get it all out. And one best practice I've learned, because I've had to change some of the ways that I approach people and talk to people and stuff like that. I'll ask them real quick, do you want me to listen or do you want advice?
Man, listen, that's key. That's so key, because misplacing that destroys communication.
Yeah.
What I'm learning and from past mistakes, and even in my former marriage, one of the things that plagued, a lot of couples was, okay, if I present an issue to you, it ends up becoming you presenting your issue to me, and so which nullifies my issue.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm bringing something to you onto the day, hey, this is my gripe with you, then you'll be like, well, this is my gripe with you, and then the original part of the conversation is gone because now you're addressing their gripe, and so I never whoever initiates the conversation should have the floor.
It's called tit for tat.
Yeah, a lot of you know what I'm saying. So
that's an old saying though. It's like tit for tat.
So I remember when we had a good therapist, it's like, yo, use the hourglass. Like when it's your turn, you put the hourglass and let, you know what I'm saying. And so that's something I want to apply moving forward. It was like, man, when you want to address something and it's your turn to speak, it's like, all right, here's the hourglass. This is my turn to address without you trying to, you know what I'm saying? But that tit for tat, man, it's caused a lot of men to just shoot. Like, you know what? I'm not even going to present my problems, because it's going to be like, well, I got my problems with you. And it's like finding healthy ways to have conversations. Like I said, tough conversations. and they're not comfortable, you want to rebuttal, you want to respond, but like it's gotta, and I know mediation, therapy, and counseling, all that stuff plays, but I really pray that and hope that couples can find or men can create environments or find ways to create environments where both parties can feel safe and heard.
I think a lot of guys also want accountability, period. Because thing is, if you want us to be accountable, you have to be accountable too.
True.
And what that means is apologizing for what you know you've done wrong and the role that you've played in the situation. But it's not a blame game either. You're taking responsibility for what you did. And that way that you can heal from what it is. Because I'm telling you, half the time when you apologize to somebody, it's not for them, it's for you too, because you need to be able to rectify inside what you did wrong and be like, you know what, if I love this person and I care about this person, I'm gonna make that change. You know, most guys really just want that clear communication, because it's the same way when we were playing football or basketball, whatever. It's just like the coach wants a clear, concise situation. If he says, hey, look, I need you to run if you're playing football, I need you to run the A gap. That's what he wants. And that's how we're communicated to. So when we get lost in translation with a whole bunch of extra, filler instead of just, hey, this is what I need. A lot of times we just zone out and we're like, yo, we just tell us what we need to do and be more clear and concise. You know what I mean?
That's so key, man. And, what does a man really want? Like, that's so key in understanding, to be understood, respected, loved, to be able to communicate effectively. And, these things wrapped around from the emotional standpoint is so important. Now, we're going to switch to another spot. Like, we talked a little bit about the emotional needs, what a man wants. Let's talk a little bit about the psychological part. Like, what I'm learning now at the age 44, about to be 45, I keep saying it, is like, I want to feel fulfilled in like walking in my purpose, what I'm on this earth to do. You know what I'm saying? Like my worth, like if we don't feel like we are valued, like we have value, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There is a void. We walk around trying to figure stuff out. So walking around with purpose in mind, purpose driven, having that self-worth is so key for men. Like you walk around, you're a personal trainer, you do security, you know what I'm saying? I'm a musician, you know what I'm saying? Having that worth, knowing like I have value in what I do and who I am.
It's to me more about being secure in your identity and who you know you are. And I've learned to look past also what I do and who I am as a person from the base. Because if I were to take my job away, I'm still a caring, loving person who wants to do right by the world and to give back. That is part of who I am. And like I love being that way because my family's that way. I'm gonna always tie my family into these because my family's very close knit. Nobody leaves anybody behind. And that, helped to create who I am as a person from the base. Yes, I'm a personal trainer. Yes, I do security. Both of those are tied into helping people achieve something.
Finding your why.
Exactly. Find the why.
Like tied in. Yep. And that's what fuels you. Like I have learned, like earlier this year, what clicked was I'm a creative communicator. Okay. I mean, this creative and communication. Creative and communicator meaning that whether it's through my music, whether it's through my visual, the filming stuff, and whether through podcasts, it's like through creative communication. I'm also, in ministry. And so I do that. I communicate and I do it as from a creative standpoint. And I had to look back at my whole life and what was the consistent thing, no matter where I live, no matter where I work, no matter what I was doing, what was the underbed under it? And it was like, you communicated, you used your gift through music, through film, through, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And communicated and connected with people and inspired. Like if you go to any of my pages, it's inspiring, it's motivating, it's to add life, add value to people through the means of music, film, and public speaking. And so it's like, once you realize that, there's a certain sense of identity and security of and how you walk as a man. And so as what does a man want? Yes, it's to be connected to something bigger than them. You know what I'm saying?
And they want to be able to be that foundation for the family. And that's the main thing is like as a man, like my dad raised me to be able to take the reins of a family, whether it's my family now or as a family that I create on my own.
That's good.
I have to be able to be solid enough and try to become that man that everybody looks to if they need help, if they need guidance, and things like that, because that right there pushes you to be that steadfast husband, that steadfast father, that steadfast elder in the community that's able to give back. That's the biggest thing I've noticed, that a lot of my elders or my mentors, they have said, you know what, when I was younger, I didn't even see myself in this position. And as I got older, I wanted to be able to give back and be able to complete the cycle of being that elder and telling these kids, hey, you don't have to be this way. You don't have to go that way. You don't have to make the same mistakes.
That's good.
And I call it a blessing. I know a lot of young cats didn't listen, but I was like, man, if I'm not gonna walk in that room if they just told me that there was a bunch of lions in there and they ripping people apart and I can see people getting towed up in there. Why would I go in there and go be like, you know what? Just because so-and-so went in there, I'm gonna go do it. Remember the old saying is like this: if he would have jumped off the bridge, you gonna jump off the bridge with him?
Man, if I ain't heard that so many times.
I'm telling you, but that right there it's a need that's being fulfilled by being able to speak out wisdom and being able to be that person and feel that you've made a mark in this world. And it drives a man to do great things. It'll also make men who did terrible things change.
That's true.
How many prisoners have you seen come up on a podcast and start spitting that real stuff to tell these kids, hey man, this is not the way. I'm telling you, you want the street cred, but you're gonna end up dead. And that's just honest. That's just what it is. You want to create fear, not respect. That's the problem. But fear gets you hurt. Respect will get you taken care of. So
and revered, and so it's like respect gets you revered. Fear gets you, it's different. Like it creates fear creates distance. Respect creates, connection. And so my thing with connecting to something bigger than you, it comes through life experiences. Like you said, somebody who's went to jail and went through some hard times, and they come out and they connect to something bigger than them. Like, listen, I'm gonna help the next generation avoid the mistakes I made.
Oh yeah, because
you know what I'm saying?
Wait, a hard head make a what? Soft behind.
Listen, and so like
try not to cuss. It's ingrained in me, but I'm trying not to.
But really, like connecting to something bigger than yourself. I think for me, now again, for most men, it's different. Like depending on your age. Like when you're younger, we chasing money in our 20s. Like we trying to get that in 30s. We want to come up. I'm in my 40s, so I'm kind of talking about, okay, what I'm going to do for retirement, what I'm going to do, riding off to the sunset. Like it depends on what stage in life you're in. It depends, how you connect from a psychological aspect. You know what I mean? And so what do men really want? It varies, But for me, I know I want to be connected to something bigger than myself. Like I think in my 30s, I was chasing the lights. Like, I want to be known. I want to be popular. I want to be, I want to make that money, And I did that, and I realized, like, it ain't all what it is. You thinking, like, the more popular you are, the more connection you have, or the more people love you, or the more, let's say, more money, more problems.
Yeah, because the thing is, do you really want to be so famous that you can't go to the bathroom without somebody trying to shoot pictures and my God, they went to the bathroom.
But we don't think that in our young, ambitious, you know what I'm saying?
No, we don't.
That's why it varies from age to age, man. And so what does a man really want? Yeah, it varies from age to age, but for some me, and sometimes it hits you at a young age where you connect to something bigger than yourself, like doctors or lawyers or, football players. Realize like LeBron, they were just talking on the radio the other day. It was like, man, LeBron is one of the few basketball players that, like, he's still married to the same woman. You don't hear no tabloids of him cheating on his wife, or you know what I'm saying? Like, he one of the few that was able to kind of keep a clean reputation for all his career. Like, that's commendable, dog. Like, that's to me, that's GOAT status for me. Like, we talk about the Michael Jordan LeBron debate. That right there, to me, that kind of ones up Jordan, because Jordan's life was a mess, even though he's the GOAT. But like, I look at the life aspect with like a LeBron, like what he did since a young man. Now he's an elder statesman, but he made decisions and operated from a space of purpose. Like, yo, I'm LeBron James, and what I do and what I say and how I carry myself matters.
But you know what? He has a functional family. And I'm going to tell you that played a huge role because, again, he who finds a good woman finds a good thing. Or wife, however you want to spin it. But the thing is, he's got somebody who's there who listens to him and allows him to communicate the way he needs to communicate.
The respect.
And also holds the household down or holds down anything that needs to be held down that he can't do. And that's a partnership, man. Like, that's what most men really want, is to be able to have somebody that they can rely on. And again, I've said it 1,000,001 times. Ain't got nothing to do with the money aspect of the situation.
It comes and goes.
Yeah, it comes and goes. It's more about, can I trust you with my emotions? Can I trust you when I'm not the 100% the man that I need to be at that moment?
When I'm vulnerable,
And when I'm vulnerable, because ladies, if you really want to get a man's heart, when that man is vulnerable, if you're there and you're able to pick him up
and to hold space for that, man,
I'm trying to tell you, that man will love you for life.
That's a cheat code right there.
Yeah,
women, if y'all listening, when a man is at his lowest, how you steward that moment determines how that man will ride for you. Like, if you can hang with a man in his lowest and don't judge him, make him feel seen, heard, you know what I'm saying, valued, man, most men I know, man, listen, they will take bullets for you. They would.
I'm trying to tell you,
they will ride, like, you know what I'm saying, and it's not just about the need, the sexual needs and all that stuff that men we could talk about, but it's that emotional, like that connection, like when we are vulnerable and you can handle that, man.
Look, I'm gonna put it in ways that most, if you grew up watching like Superman, Lois Lane kept Superman's identity away from everybody else. She held it down for him in that sense. So, ladies, if you want a Superman, be his Lois Lane. It's real easy that way.
Be able to handle both.
Handle both. Listen, you deal when he's super, and then when he got kryptonite at the same time.
Yeah, man. It goes back to one of my early podcast episodes, and I talked about Superman versus Clark Kent, I talked about where a lot of women meet us like, okay, a lot of women may meet you in your element as Superman, like you're a trainer, you know what I'm saying? But can they handle the Clark Kent when you're not in your element? Like, a woman that can handle both.
Exactly.
Like, when you're not in your element, like for me, I'm a high profile musician, high profile influencer, whatever. Like, but when I'm not in that element, can you handle me just the low key chilling? Like, if you can handle both, man, the wildest thing is seeing people like for who they really are at that moment. Like, even when they are like downgraded and everything at that moment, how many times have you actually like seen a star or somebody out and they're not looking the way that they usually look, and you like, man, that ain't so-and-so. That can't be so-and-so. Listen,
and then when they doll themselves back up or they recharge back into whoever they need to be, they say, oh yeah, that's so-and-so. Ladies, if you can catch that man when he is that, then he's not that socialite, and that he looks like a regular everyday schmo, when he cleaned up, put on the suited to booted and looking good and all that stuff like that, and ready to take you around the world, then he'll stick with you for the rest of your life. I'm telling you, because he trusts you at that moment. You've seen him when he's at that very low moment in his life, and he don't even know possibly who he is at that moment.
Man, I love it, man. And so like, men desire a woman who can handle the vulnerability and also the strength, and when we're not so strong, you know what I'm saying? Like, with that, I believe that's so huge.
That's an awesome responsibility too.
Man. Like, that's
be careful with that, because that's real fragile.
I've seen some. Now we talk about fumble the bag.
Yeah,
I've seen some women I done witnessed a lot of women fumbling good men off of just not stewarding that tension, like the highs and the lows, not stewarding the tension right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then some women may not know, like they may not know how.
And it's fun,
you know. But like to learn in your growth season, learn how to be able to deal with the tension of a man when he's in his strongest and the man when he's at his weakest. If you can handle that tension, man, you can, man.
It's simple mathematics, though. If you keep trying things over and over again, right? Mm-hmm. And the common denominator is you. You got to change something about that. It's like I said, it works both ways.
And I said
if you a man and you keep getting women and it's like, man, this never worked, bro. You are the common denominator, and ladies, it's the same thing. If you keep going for the same thing,
they was talking about J-Lo.
Look,
I was on Little Duval page and it's like, bruh, he put he put a clip and it was like, it ain't him, it's her. Like, she the problem.
Because she's consistently the same person. Like, you done went from Ben Affleck, you done went from, what is that?
Mark Anthony.
And then, what's his name?
The dancer dude?
No, yeah, you right. Hold on. How many was it?
She done had a lot.
A-Rod, everybody. Look, if you gonna sit there and go through all these guys and it's not dictating on who you are as a person, saying that you this way, that way, nobody wants to say that you may be promiscuous or you're not. It's the fact that you treating people the same way. And these people are making the same amount of money, if not more. And they keep being like, you know what? I don't think I can stick this out. The common denominator. There is no lie with that.
I hate to keep bringing back that J-Lo Ben Affleck thing, but we done seen a lot.
They done tried that how many times?
How many times? And you see Ben Affleck's face like,
and he like this. Here you go again. Here she go again. We not gonna do this again. I'm out.
Ben Affleck is a symbol of a lot of men right now, low key. In marriages and relationships, like while the woman is shining, he in there secretly suffering.
Yeah.
And they was talking about on radio this morning, man. It was like, man, I think Ben Affleck is happy on the fact that she filed for divorce, because, like, you know what I'm saying? It was like he was miserable, and I was like, man, like, do you understand the importance of a man that operates in peace and happiness and fulfillment? You know what I'm saying? Like, I tell you, man, like, if you're able to, again, to put that smile on that man's face, a man, that's man, I'm telling you, man, like, that's a symbol. Like, yeah, they talk about happy wife, happy life, man, happy, whatever, happy spouse, happy house, happy, significant other.
There's got to be a balance. It's not about one person. It's balance. It's not about me. It's about we.
That's what a man needs, and I'm telling you, like, and so we talked about it from emotional, we talked from a psychological, from a social aspect. We talked about, how. We are built a certain way. Like, we like to, like I said, we connected through working out. You know what I'm saying? Going to the gym. Like, we need community. Like, we need, like, I would call it, we go to the gym for iron therapy. Like it's us every time, between 11 or 12 noon, we at the gym pumping iron. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just getting it in. Because it's a community, like, you know what I'm saying? And throughout the years, it varies and stuff like that. But, like, in the core of our, seasons, like the hard seasons, like, community was huge, man. Men need community. Like, what a man really wants, needs, however we label it, community. Like, iron, we talking about iron sharpens iron. That's important.
It literally takes a village to raise a man, a woman. Mm-hmm. From a male perspective, you need wise counsel of older men who've been there before,
and that's important. Yeah, but also just need some brothers that you could just chop it up with. That, like,
let's be okay. So when you were in high school, middle school, you play football, basketball, all sports. You gonna find a group within that group that you probably still talk to this day. I still got homeboys that I still talk to this very day.
My best friend, like I said, I've known him. My best friend, I've known him since 10th grade. Yeah, and he still lives in my hometown in Orlando, and he's been my friend when I moved to Atlanta, to Baltimore, to DC, and to Dallas. Like, he's been my friend throughout. Like, there's some friends like you kind of lose throughout different stages in life, but there's some friends that ride with you through all the seasons, and they grow with you. Like, like some of our friends from high school, they may not be able to deal with us today. You know,
because everybody changes.
But there's some friends that can. That move with you.
Man, I got a brother the same way, man. Like, we got cool. Mm-hmm. Playing the game, man. Yeah. Like, got off of football practice and was like, "Hey, man, come on, let's play PlayStation." After that, we were inseparable. My parents' grocery bill doubled and tripled because he was always over there. But that's my brother. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I can go to my brothers when I'm not feeling 100% myself and not be torn down. Yep. And every man needs that. Like I said, wise counsel doesn't always mean the old guy. It means that wise counsel can be, my brother is smarter than me in this situation because he's not hyper emotional in this situation. He could just, I could be like, man, I'm finna go whoop somebody. He's like, hey, man, you got kids, you got a job, you got a wife. You don't need a record. You need to chill out. Listen, and that's wise counsel.
I keep it a buck.
Yeah.
I should have been in jail with some of the stuff that I faced head on. But if it wasn't for my circle of accountability to remind me, like, dude, if you snap right now and go to jail, like, first of all, you risk the chance that your daughter may not see you. Mm-hmm. Or you may not be able to see your daughter grow up because you snap. Like, wise counsel, though, like, it literally can save your life, dog.
Yeah.
Wise counsel, like having iron sharpen iron, like people around you to kind of help you keep a level head, make wise decisions. That's what a man needs and wants. Like, it's important to have people surrounding you that love you, that ain't gonna judge you, no matter how many times you made mistakes. Like, when you fumble, when you've lost, like you lost it all, or when you're winning, like to have that foundation of a village, a community of wise counsel, however, to be around you, man, like that's so key. And that, and you always say it, like in the top of our podcast, is like, yo, if you need help, like if you need to reach out to people, you know, a therapist, like we hear, like, reach out. You know what I'm saying? Like, having that is so key, man. And I just can't emphasize it enough how it's important.
It circles back to the very beginning of this whole conversation. Without judgment. Mm-hmm. If you can tell your brother something and your brother be like, I hear you, man, and I have to say anything else,
facts.
You be like, man, and it'd be like, you want some advice? Yeah, big dog.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Just chill. Take a couple of breaths and get your mind right before you make that move. And that's really what it is. Men want communication
and safety.
And safety in the same way. The same way that ladies want that emotional safety, men want that emotional safety at the very end of the day. Man, they really do. We're not that different. And I know they say men are from Mars and women are from Venus, but at the same time, we want a lot of the same things. Is the fact that we communicate it differently. Yeah.
Man, I can't. We're gonna have a panel of women in here and have this dialogue, because this, I think, seriously, like, honestly, if y'all want to be on this podcast, let us know. Like, if you want to do a panel, mention it on the comments or hit us, DM us on our pages, man.
Now, mind you, I said everybody gonna be respectful on here, so we not finna do anything that's disrespectful to anybody or any gender or any sex. We're not doing that. Nah, we really want anybody who's got a good head on their shoulders and is willing to have a conversation that's open dialogue and don't judge somebody for what they say. Just agree to disagree.
Yep. So we gonna do that and put that in the comments. I check the comments. And again, thank you for those who comment and subscribe and all that stuff. And as we come to a close of this, what do men really want? We talk about the Amos that I was 20 years ago is not the same Amos I am now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so, our desires change and evolve over time, man. And it's like having that awareness, being connected to yourself. Like, even with friends, some friends may not be the same friends you had 20 years ago, or some, if you're single, you may not date same type of women, that you dated
Yeah.
20 years ago. Like if you're married, like I realized I was married almost 12 years before my divorce, and like the person I was when I was first married, I was in my early 30s, and I ended up getting divorced in my early 40s. I noticed that I wasn't the same person. Like what I desired and what made me, what made me smile, or what, like things. There's certain things that change, and and it's like being in touch with yourself to know, like, yo, what is it that makes me tick? What makes me whatever? You know what I'm saying? And knowing that changes, like, you know what I'm saying? Like your appetites change, everything changes, and just being connected with yourself is so huge, man. And knowing like, yo, I desire something else. Like, women be always talking about like, I'm not the same. But the same thing for men. Like, yeah, there's certain things
you're not supposed to be the same. You're supposed to change throughout your life, because it's called evolving.
Yeah,
it's learning to adapt to your situation in your area.
But I think they don't like to hear that from men. Like, we supposed to be stable. We supposed to be anchors. We supposed to be this fort, and we ain't. We supposed to be this statue that represents.
Well, hold on. If you want to be an anchor, does a ship not move?
That part.
Okay, if a ship move, guess what? You got to set an anchor somewhere else, right? Mm-hmm. And if you have to set an anchor right there, they can still be sturdy, right? Mm-hmm. It's just in a different port, right? Mm-hmm. It's in a different part of the world, right?
It moves.
Okay, exactly. So
but people have different expectations, or they're thinking of how men's supposed to be. Like, they think, okay, women evolve, men, y'all supposed to just be. And I'm like, we evolve too. And I think it's important that, like I said, we keep it a balanced perspective. Like, now we may evolve differently. Like women evolve different way, their bodies shift, like change one way, and for men, our bodies.
We go through the same kind of thing. I'm telling you, when your testosterone start dropping, you ain't gonna be the same either, player.
Yeah,
and that's just being honest. We all go through changes in our lives, and that's where again your partners, your family, everybody, your loved ones, they help you to adapt to it a lot easier, because they lessen the blow or they ease the blow. So it's not just, you're not taking a full frontal assault where you're sitting there just, I'm by myself, I'm trying to weather this storm. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we all have to change.
True.
We all have to change our mentality. It can't be the same, because you gain no knowledge from something that always stays the same. No. And yeah, there's a bunch of self-help books and all this lovely literature about it, but at the same time, there is no written book that is going to depict your life. You have to create your own.
That's good.
Now, you can look at the Bible and base your life off the Bible or of any biblical text or any type of religious text that you have, but it's still your life that's being written bit by bit. You can watch how your parents do it. You can watch how your loved ones do it, your friends do it. But at the end of the day, it is the way that you want to dictate your life to be. So when you evolve, you have the right to make those changes.
True.
Now, there are going to be repercussions.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. One thing, everything has to be an equal force to hit back. Does it not? Equal reaction. You have to look at it in that sense. Be willing to take that risk to change and evolve. And you may not hang on to the same people. Like you said, they may fall off. But God also makes you to where you shed off things that are not necessary.
The higher you elevate, the smaller your circle is. Look at this like a mountain. Like if you were to draw circles around a mountain, the higher it gets, the smaller that circle is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so the more you elevate, the smaller things the smaller your surroundings as far as people or influences become, because as you elevate, you also carry a lot more weight. You're dealing a bit more. You're dealing with just a new level of challenges, and you're carrying so much more wisdom, because you elevated means that you've navigated a lot of. You fought a lot of resistance, like gravity. You know what I'm saying? The more you like, so it's like I'm just speaking from an illustrative standpoint, but like, don't be afraid to evolve. Evolve may require some shedding.
Yeah, shed the people, shed the things, shed just habits that you always do that seem to not garner any type of growth.
And I think in weight loss, that was something I had to really dig in, like my habits. And to evolve, to lose 160, 60, 70 pounds and keep a lot of it off, had to adjust to habits and realize like, yo, eating this comfort food or, thinking a certain way of my relationship with food, like, I had to really dig deep and say, yo, this has to change or this won't change. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, change won't change until you change.
Yeah. And fellas, I'm going to tell you this, this is the trainer talking for 2 seconds. So Tank the Trainer is full effect right now. If you notice that a lot of times when we go through things and we're not learning from our mistakes, we tend to pick up weight, and especially around our stomach, that's a lot of stress. It's a lot of your testosterone going funky because you're stressing out and you're not taking the steps to be here longer for your family. You have to take the reins and lead by example. Get in shape, fellas. A strong body and a strong mind are needed to navigate this thing we call life. And you may not look like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Hey, you might not even look like me. All jokes aside, you need to take the same love and respect that you give others and give it to yourself. Take care of yourself physically. That will help bleed into your mentality and the way that you treat people.
Man, that's powerful there, man. Like, it falls into that phrase, health is wealth.
Yes, sir.
And as we come into a close, man, like, what does a man really want? We talked about it from the emotional aspect, the respect, the love, to be able to be understood and communicated and heard and seen, you know what I'm saying? And dealing with the sense of purpose connected to something bigger than themselves. And you know what I'm saying? Like, self-worth is so huge. And then having a community and from a social aspect, like having iron sharpen iron, surrounded by wise counsel. And then we talk about we evolve, being free to evolve. Like, you're not the same after a period of time. All that you've gone through, all the things that you've endured and overcome, it causes you to grow and change. Be free to evolve. You know what I'm saying? What does a man really want? Like, things change, people change, your desires change, your circles change, your mind grows, your you know what I'm saying? And it's important, like, to just make the necessary adjustments as you grow. Like, the older we get, our health adjusts. Like, you know what I'm saying? We can't eat like the way we used to eat.
Yep, gotta make game time adjustments.
Listen, and so it's
like, tell you.
Have that connection to yourself as you evolve and know, like, okay, the things that I used to do, I can't do no more. The people I used to hang with, I can't hang with no more. The girls that I used to chase, I can't chase anymore, because it's like, I gotta grow. I gotta become who God has created me to be. And so it's like, what does a man really want? You know what I'm saying? Whether you're married or single, it's this understanding to being understood, seen, loved, respect. You know what I'm saying? Having that self-worth, having that connection to your purpose, then understanding that you need a village, you need a circle of men. Sir. Iron sharpens iron. Like a brother, you need your brothers, you need your wise counsel, you need your elders, you need your family, you need your, you know what I'm saying? And if you don't have that, pray about it. Ask God to lead you to some people that really knows how to be your community. And you know what I'm saying? And your community don't have to be 50 people. It could be
you only need 1 or 2 people to take over the world. I'm gonna be honest with you, man.
That's
like
real.
That's some of the realest advice I've ever heard. It was actually from a Joe Rogan podcast. Dead serious. He was just like, you don't need 50,000 people to take over the world. You only need 1 or 2 people who are down the ride with you to make it happen.
That's beautiful.
And one thing, fellas, I really want you to understand, and this comes from the heart: go places that you're celebrated, not tolerated.
Woo!
Really, that at the end of the day,
that was huge, because that's real. That's a real thing.
Yeah, because the thing is, whether it's your job, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's even just a situation, if you're not celebrated and you're only tolerated in there, you will not grow. You will shrink to the size that they want you to be.
Man,
grow in the way that you need to grow.
Listen,
go where you grow.
Yep, go where you grow. I love it. And that's real, man. And so we're here to help, man. We're so thankful that you've tuned into this podcast. This was a good one. Let us know again. hit that comment, hit that like, hit that follow, hit that subscribe button. But let us know how you feel. And for those who've been already leaving comments, we see you. We appreciate you.
Yep.
Keep them coming. Follow us on our pages. We gonna go live, man. I keep saying that every week, but we got.
No, we gonna find some time to go live for real.
Because we got to just connect and just really talk to a few people. And I have some people on, some guests that we just got to get a bigger studio. How about that
and
part?
we're working on that part.
We're working on that, and so but that's coming soon. And then and this podcast, man, I'm so excited about the things that are coming, the guests that are coming. But again, we are serious about health being wealth. Health is wealth.
On that note, also, if y'all need help on any type of fitness, nutrition, anything, follow my page at Tank Fit Fitness or at Tank Ray, and by all means, I'll reach out and help you. It's no big deal. I want us to grow together. I want everybody to be healthy this year as we start closing towards the end of the year, and we have the holidays coming, and we're trying to get in shape or stay in shape or get some type of shape at the end of the day. But I'm really about trying to make everybody healthy. This is what we're here for.
Whew, I love it. Listen, man, Battle Wounds Podcast, man, we here to help. Health is wealth, man. That's just kind of the thing, man.
Mental, physical, spiritual.
All that. Health is wealth, man.
Yes, sir.
Battle Wounds Podcast. And we're so thankful that you've tuned in. Listen, make sure you share this, man. Let us know how you feel about this conversation that we had today. This is just the beginning. We'll be back. We're going to be back with a panel with some people and really expound on a lot of things, because we touched on a lot of stuff that need a little bit more unpacking. But we need some female perspective. Yeah, some lovely lady perspective. Yeah, so we be back. But let us know how you feel. Don't hesitate to reach out. Tank Fitness, Tank Ray. We gonna put that on there. Connect with him for your fitness needs. He's here. He's a great resource. Listen, man, health is wealth. It's wealth. For real it is. And I really appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll be back next week. Listen, let us know how you feel. Like if there's something that we didn't touch on, mention it in the comments, and we'll bring it up next week, man. Oh, yeah. We'll bring it up next week on our next podcast, man. Truth and respect. We're going to make it happen. Yes. So thank you so much for tuning in. This was a good one, man. This was dope, man. And so, listen, we'll be back next week. And thank you again for tuning in. I'm Amos St. John. It's your boy Tank. Until next time, health is wealth. See ya. Y'all be blessed.